45 robins in my yard, and they were all just having a good old time. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. And then this morning when I was having my breakfast, my husband pointed out there was 2 little duckies crossing my yard. So I don't know if they were looking for Easter eggs or something, but I don't know. I'm going to keep a watchful eye while I'm doing this paint party and see if Peter Cottontail comes on by. So, all right, we have 59 people that I can see. This is Mandy in the ears. She's going to be painting along with us. She's one of the 4 artsy coaches. I'm Tammy. Dawn is going to be moderating. So in that little bottom area down in the bottom of the screen, you can chat and you can ask questions and say hello. And then we have a 4th artsy coach who's grocery shopping, I think, this morning, but she may jump on at some point. We're the artsy coaches. We're everywhere, Colorado, North Dakota, and we have many, many guides. And this is what we do, but we usually get to be with you. And today we don't get to be with you other than on the computer, which is what we do these days. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I am noticing also, who needs a haircut? Short-haired people? Look what I did. I flipped it the other way today. I'm getting creative because I don't know what to do with it anymore. Anyways, there's my funny.
I know. Quarantine problems, right?
Indeed. So this is Remy the Bunny, and that's the one that y'all signed up for, and this is the one we're going to do. So this is an original painting of mine. What does that mean? That means that sometimes when I get these crazy ideas in my head, which is most of the time in the middle of the night, I always have a sketchbook and I'm always sketching. So everybody that's on this call today, pick up a pencil through this quarantine and draw every single day. Draw on a napkin, draw on lined paper, draw on cardboard, draw on whatever it is you can draw on, and who knows what you'll create. I always say create every day, right? So Remy the Bunny came about just a couple of weeks ago when we decided we'd be doing some virtual parties, and I thought we need to have something kind of springy. So here is Remy. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, and we always start in the background with this lovely teal color, as well as lime green on the bottom. And then we'll be adding all of these things in. So if you've never been to a paint party before, you've never watched a paint party before, we're going to do ours a little bit differently perhaps than the last one that you've been to or done. But if you follow along step by step, I guarantee it'll look similar to this. It'll be unique to you. And if you move ahead and you do something out of sorts, that's fine as well. But I'm going to walk you through it, and Mandy's going to be on walking you through it just as well. And we're going to have this completed in about an hour, hour and a half here. So I understand some children paint quicker, some get antsy and don't want to paint anymore, and some want more after the fact when we're done. But keep watching Gallery on the Go after this, and who knows, we'll probably have some more virtual paint party things coming up soon. All right, just gonna take a peek. Oh, there we go. All right, my coaches are texting on the side, so I want to make sure everything was good. All right, here's what we're needing today. We need a glass of water. So if you don't have a glass of water, this is gonna be for your brushes, to wash out the brushes at the end of using your colors. And I'm going to reach back here, and I guess, you know, you can use any brushes that you have. This is the first one that I'm gonna use. This is about 1 inch. It's about the size of my pinky, the end of my pinky right here. It's a larger brush than, let's say, this one, which is also flat. This one's about half of the size. And then I also have a detailed brush, which has a point on it, and that one's a little bit smaller. But you know what, guys? Whatever brushes you have are the ones I want you to use today, because we'll get through this with whatever we have in our house. So when we do have a color in here, for instance, let's say pink, we just painted the pink, and we want to wash out the brushes, what we're going to do is we're going to gently pump the brush on the bottom of the cup 10 times, and you'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always say do it gentle, because if you do it too hard, those little brushes will scream at you. They'll say, oh, hey, what's your problem? Why are you being so mean? So make sure you just do it gentle enough on the bottom of the cup. But look what happens when I take it out of the cup. It drips, doesn't it? So we want to also make sure that we have a napkin. And the napkin is just to dry off all of the paint out of the brush. Now, oftentimes my kiddos at my classes just dry this part off, but remember, all of this has been in the water. So make sure you take and you dry it all the way up and down the handle so it's not dripping, because a drippy painting is not a really great painting when we want it to stay in place. And the only other thing that you will need is your paints. Now, these are the paints that I use, so these are the ones that I will be using. And so I'm going to start by I have a lid. That's going to be my palette today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find the color blue, whatever color blue you have, and we're going to find the color green, blue and green mixed together, excuse me, with a little bit, and again, I will remind you, a little bit of white. And Mandy's going to do this as well. We're going to mix up the color teal. That's this color in the background. That's this darker color, whoops, darker color right in here. So what I'm going to do is, and you don't need a lot of paint. You need about, I always say, a quarter's worth. Enough to make it through the background, and then enough to have a little bit of extra teal left over, because we're going to be doing a little bit with that teal with the egg. So I pumped about a quarter's amount on my palette of blue, and then I'm going to get some of my green, and I'm going to mix that as well right next to it. Now, for those of you that have worked with paints before, if you want it more green-based, do it more green-based. If you want it more blue, well then add more blue in. And then the last thing, and Mandy's going to go ahead and start mixing hers, she's going to grab some of those colors, is just a little teeny tiny bit of white. That'll bring it down into a nice beachy kind of a teal color. So again, we've got the blue, we've got the green, we've got a little bit of white, and we always say use less because you can always add in more. So I use just a small amount of white, and then I'm going to be able to decide if I love the color and then go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing up these colors on my tray. Now, oftentimes if we were in front of you, we would say you don't have to mix it all over the tray, just mix it in a little puddle, because we're going to use the rest of that palette. So we want to mix just in one small little area. And look what I did. I already love this color, so I'm not even adding all of the rest of that in. I'm just going to leave that on my tray. Okay? And I want to get it mixed up to my liking. So for instance, if you look at this, you can see there are some whiter areas and stuff. Well, up here, if it is variegated and it's not as blended in, if it's not all the same color, that's okay too. So here we go. You ready? We're going to get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to paint from this corner, the left, all the way over to the middle, to the right, and we're going to paint about 3/4 of the way down. So let's see. Yell it out, kids. When I get to halfway, oh, yep, you said right there, and then a little bit further down, not all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to make kind of a jagged line. And then I'm going to go back and forth, and we are going to start to paint the entire canvas with this teal. So Mandy's going to go ahead and get started, and as I am. And what I did today, because I like to recycle and reuse, is I painted white over a canvas. I'm using a canvas panel today. And so I might have some white areas that need to be gone over a couple of times. When you paint, I'm taking my brush and I'm going all the way up and off the top, and be careful if you flick it, you don't want to get paint on anything near you, like your brother or your sister. So you want to do it nice and gentle. But if you go up and down, straight up and down, nice and soft, blending it up and down, picking up more paint if you need, it creates a prettier, smoother painting than if you just go crazy, then it leaves marks. Now, whatever you want to do is what you can do. Doesn't matter. So you're just going to be painting up and down. You can go left and right, but nice long brush strokes to get all of the background in. And I apologize. See, now the sun went down here in North Dakota and there isn't any light. So I'm going to go switch on a light while Mandy is painting. And I am going to turn on a little bit of music in the background because we don't like it quiet. We like to have a party when we're at a party.
Yeah, you can't have a party without music.
That's right. Let's see.
So friends, remember, we don't want to put our paint on too thick. If we get our paint on too thick, it just takes a long time to dry. So put the paint on a nice thin coats.
I gotta buckle in because I almost lost my canvas on my floor. You probably don't have one of those easels that has a buckle, but I do. And painting from the side, let me tell you, it's a little bit tricky. Hopefully you can see mine just as well. If not, I know Mandy's, I can see hers really, really well. Mine's so dark, but I think it's because I'm standing. Maybe I'll shift it at some point. All right. Now, Oftentimes at our paint parties, we also bring a hair dryer. So if you are finding that your kids are painting a little bit too thick and it's not drying, or who knows, maybe you're baking cookies and it's too warm and stuffy in your house and it's not drying, well then you can always take a hair dryer to it and get it to dry a little bit quicker. Although we're not going to worry about this piece right now because we're going to go on to the next piece. Always chat with us if we're going too quick or if you have any questions or whatever, because that's what Dawn is on the other end for. She's helping us do what we're supposed to be doing that we aren't reading and you might be commenting on. So again, I just hate that the lighting is so horrible in here. There we go. All right. Now in the meantime, if you are done, you're going to take that brush and you're going to pump it. How many times? 10 times on the bottom of the cup. You're going to start to see some really cool watercolors coming out. And after you get it pumped a couple of times, you're going to dry it off on that napkin again, or that paper towel. And get all of that color out of there. Although we will be using a tone of green next, so it's okay if there's a little bit of that green teal color in there, because the next color we're going to do on Mr. Remi is this lime green on the bottom. Now, wait a minute, Tammy. I don't even have the rabbit on there yet. It's okay. We're going to be adding that, so no worries. That person needs time to catch up, so no worries. We'll let you get caught up. I understand sometimes when we're with you, we get to see the progress, and sometimes when we're on camera, we don't get to see how far you're at. So yeah, definitely. Maybe you guys can tell funny jokes or Easter jokes in the background. I didn't do any this time. Mandy?
I got some.
Get on that, girl.
Let me pull some up. What are 400 rabbits hopping backwards?
400 rabbits hopping backwards.
A receding hairline.
Oh, yeah. That's cute. Kids will have to remember those. So if you do some Zoom with your grandpas and grandmas later, you can tell jokes. So mom can write those down.
What happened when 100 hares got loose on Main Street? The police had to comb the area.
Aha.
Hey, Tammy, question came in on the Q&A, which was, which colors did you use to make your teal? I accidentally marked it live instead of answering it, so you can just answer it live now.
Absolutely, yeah. So what I did is I took the color green and the color blue and then just a dot of white. So green and blue and white, and you mix it up and it makes kind of this beachy kind of a teal color. Blue, green, and a dot of white. You can always add more white in. So us gallery guides, we've done this since, when did we start? 2011. I came on board in 2013, and we have done paint parties with anybody and everybody you can think of, ages 3 to 103, honestly. I've done assisted living. I even did a baby gender reveal party one time. We've done golf course parties, Girl Scout parties, things like that. So this is fun that we get to not stop in the midst of this and celebrate Easter with you. I'm so excited because I don't get to celebrate. My family is not here. They're all in the homes that they live in. So I'm glad you guys are here with us today. How many? 62 friends for Easter, Mandy.
Wow, that's so cool. Here's a good one. What is an Easter bunny's favorite kind of music?
Hop.
Hip-hop. Dun-dun-dun.
Say something with a hop.
Hip-hop.
Yes.
What's the Easter bunny's favorite restaurant? IHOP.
Oh, cute. So you gotta love jokes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my friends. Again, if you're just getting started with us, we are mixing the color blue and green and a little bit of white for the top. Good jokes. Betty likes your jokes. And then we're going to go on to the bottom part. So the bottom part, I actually still have green on my tray. If you do not, go ahead and pump some green. And next to that, not in that puddle, let's see here, camera. I'm gonna use yellow, about a dime's worth of yellow. You can talk about how big a dime is with your kiddos. The same amount of white, about a dime's worth of white. What we're going to be creating is a baby yellow. So we're going to take the color yellow and white and we're going to mix it together to get a baby soft yellow. Taking time to get all of it mixed up, pour it on your tray, yellow and white. Ooh, that's an awesome yellow. In fact, I think I'm going to pull a little puddle of that to the side because I'm going to use that for an egg later. So I'm just going to put a little piece of that to the side. And then I take my brush. I didn't even wash it out. I still have paint in it. And I'm going to take a little bit of green and I'm going to add green, the smallest amount of green, to that yellow. And look at that beautiful color, lime green. The smallest amount. You would think, wouldn't you, Mandy? You would think that a lot of green is going to make lime green, but it doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
It's more of that yellowy white color that makes it lime. With this particular color in that large brush, I'm still on the large brush, we're going to cover the bottom, the part that we didn't paint with the lime green. When we get up to the teal, friends, we're just going to touch the two together. It's okay if it's still wet and it blends together. It's going to get covered later. So we're going to make lime green and we're going to go all across the bottom with some lime green.
So I've been guiding paint parties for I don't know how many years now. I always mix yellow and green together first and then add white. How have I never known that you mix yellow and white first? Because this makes a much prettier green.
Does it? I was going to say, has it
Yeah.
changed? Has it changed? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks much different.
The fun thing is over Easter, over the next couple of weeks while you kiddos are still out of school, I always challenge you to get out the paints. Have mom agree to the fact that you're going to have a little paint station and mix as many colors and jot down how to make them. For instance, how do you make hot pink, Mandy?
White with red.
More red or more white?
More red.
Yeah, so a hot pink color like this egg, we're going to mix it in a little bit, is going to be a lot of red with a little bit of white. But if we want to make a baby pink, we put more white in it. So if you see a color that's light, you add more white. If you see a color that's dark, you're going to add more color or black, which we won't talk about black today because we're only going to use black for 2 spots today. And I think if you look at the painting, you'll be able to figure it out before I even show you. Lime green on the bottom, teal on the top, washing your brush out and getting all the water out of your brush, letting everybody get caught up.
So Tammy, I did, talking about our virtual parties, I did a birthday party for a 10-year-old on Thursday. And, you know, I think sometimes we worry that it's not going to be the same, not being in person. Her mom messaged me the next day and she said her daughter told her it was the best birthday she'd ever had.
And how many kiddos did you have on there? I saw
there were like, they kind of, some of them had to hop off a little early, but I think at one time we had 15 on there. So her cousins from Oregon hopped on and painted with us, her grandparents, her best friend that used to live here that moved to Alaska, she got on and painted with us. So it was so cool to like get them all together. And the mom let the birthday girl be the host of the Zoom, and she kept like muting people and turning people off. And like, I think the power was going to her head a little bit, but it was so fun. Like we had such a good time and everyone was painting together. And then she opened her presents virtually. She showed us her cake. We didn't get to enjoy the cake, but it was a really cool experience. And I thought, how fun, like when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, I guess.
Lemonade, yeah. So what you did is you had neighbors, a neighborhood lady that came over, right?
Yeah, so she was a mom that lives in my neighborhood. So I put together kits for them that had the paint and canvas and brushes and easels and aprons and all that. And she came and picked them up off my front porch, and then she delivered them. Most of the girls lived in the neighborhood, so she left them with all of her friends. And then the ones joining us from out of state, we just sent them a supply list so that they could, have the stuff just like today. But yeah, it was so fun. Like, she loved it. And for her to say it was the best birthday she's ever had, like a virtual Zoom birthday. So I thought it was a really fun idea.
That's so awesome. I know there's going to be a lot of different things, different ways we're going to be able to take away from all of this, which we are, right? We're doing virtuals. This is awesome. Yeah. Weekly virtuals. So I'm going to show you, because some are still getting caught up, and I really do want this piece to be dry because we're going to go on to that. If you did miss and you go back in, you will be able to find these instructions. This one was called Monkey Business, and we did this one, gosh, Mandy, a couple weeks ago already, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But look at that, kiddos, this silly little monkey. He's ready for summer, just like we are. So he's in his inner tube. And then after that one, we did this one, a little unicorn. Mandy led this one, and it was called Rainbow Sprinkles, right? Yeah, yep. I get confused. We name all these. It's very, very hard. Try and come up with paintings and name them, right?
It is. It's hard.
And then also we have adult paintings as well. So we've been having virtual date nights and paint parties for older people when they want their time. So keep following Gallery on the Go and you'll see all of the fun things that we're doing. All right. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to start Remy so that we can look more like Mandy. What we're going to do is these inner parts of the ears. Now, sometimes we lead with a template where it's traced on here. But today I decided, being it was Easter weekend and we're celebrating, we have a little bit more time today, so we're going to freehand them. So what I want you to do is pick a smaller brush. Not the smallest, but a smaller brush. So I'm going to use this one. It is flat. Again, if you don't have a flat one, it's all right. What we're going to do is we're going to be making this baby pink color here and here, and I'm going to show you how to draw it and how to come up with the inside of the ears. We're not worrying about the white of the rabbit yet. We're just going to do the inside of the ears. So I need to grab my red, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the smallest dot of red, like tiny. It dripped, but tiny little bit of that, and then I'm going to add some white to it. So I'm going to grab my white as well, and we're going to make a baby pink. Remember, the more white, and I'm going to put the white to the side. And friends, kids, I want you to see this. See, I didn't pump it on top of the red. I pulled it to the side. Why I do that is every good artist takes a little bit of that color and just pulls away from the puddle, and then you get to come up with the color that you love. Instead of doing it all and then saying it's too dark, just take and pull the amount that you need in there, and then you'll have the right amount, and you can always mix in more if need be. So I'm going to fill up my brush. All right, so the next thing that I am going to do is we are going to make these about 4 or 5 inches long. Okay, so if I take my brush up here and I start in the corner, it's just about as tall as my brush is on both sides. So I'm going to come over from this side. Whoops, can you see that? Yeah. About a finger's width. So if I take my pointer finger and I lay it down on the top right over here and make a mark right there, I am going to come diagonal, not straight down, but I'm going to come diagonally down, and I have my first bunny ear line. Okay? So again, I went in, I laid my finger at the top, I put a dot, and I went down just about as long as my handle of my brush is. Now we're going to do the same thing, but look at Remy in between here. There's a flower hiding it, and you can look at Mandy's too. In between, there's space on her hair, on her head. Duck down a little bit, Mandy. On your headband.
Oh, on my
headband. A little bit of space in there. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to come in from this corner. And I know it's darker here. So we're going to start on this corner, and I'm going to do another diagonal and see how much space I left in the middle there. And it looks like the letter what? The letter V, right? Letter V. So now if we were outside and it was summer and we were picking up leaves or pulling off the leaves off a tree to look at the shape, what shape would that be? It's kind of like that. It starts skinny it gets a little bit thick in the middle and it stops skinny. It stops skinny, starts skinny, excuse me, gets thick in the middle. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at the top. We're gonna go skinny, fat, skinny, skinny, fat, skinny. See how I did that? And then we're gonna fill in the inside of the ear. It may take a couple of coats to cover it. My painting this time, I tell you, because I recycled it, I'm glad that I recycled it because then it's not wasteful. But I don't know, I'm not loving the way that this is going on this canvas today. But that's okay. I already have another cute little Remy right next to it. So I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna fill in that ear, and yep, you're right, if you figured it out, you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I'm gonna start at the skinny in the top corner, I'm gonna get fat in the middle and skinny, skinny, fat, skinny. And it looks like a leaf, doesn't it? We're making the inside of Remy's ears.
We have a slow down just a bit, please request.
Thank you, Dawn. All right, I'll put the music up a little bit. And I gotta work on mine anyway, so we'll give them some time to catch up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to let my first coat dry and then come back and put a second coat on because it's not covering really good. My pink is really pale. So I'll just let that dry and put a second coat on later.
Sometimes
you'll notice that Mandy did a really light coat the first time, and that way it won't take a really long time to dry. So she can add one on in just a minute.
Right. So layering in between, it's kind of like painting a wall, moms and aunties and grandmas. We want to be done, we're tired, but if we keep painting in it, it's wet, it just keeps coming off again, so we have to give it some time to dry. So maybe this is where we fit in a little bit of Fayed today, a little bit of movement. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for everybody else to get caught up, maybe you can fan that part. Get a little bit of air action going on that part. So it does need to dry.
What did you call it? Fayed? Is that like, is that teacher lingo?
That is teacher lingo. Well, maybe that ages me, Mandy, because that's what I had. I had Fayed class. What do you have now? Gym class?
Yeah, I mean PE or physical ed. But we never called it Fayed. That must be a North Dakota thing.
It is. And you can always tell if it's dry or not by two things. The first one is if you gently touch it with your finger and it comes off, it's not dry. Or if it's shiny, it's not dry. If it's not shiny, it's dry. So if it looks not shiny, that means the paint is dry. But you can always just do a barely little soft little touch on it as well. Now, you could use a paper plate for this. Mandy's using her napkin. You can use, I don't know, anything just to get a little bit of air action. Sometimes I oftentimes will pick them up and just shake the painting as well. So you could do that too. It doesn't take that long, as long as
some of my kid parties, Tammy, we turn on Taylor Swift Shake It Off, and then we get up and they have to shake their paintings.
All right.
we can shake it off again.
That's an awesome idea. All right. How are we doing? We getting caught up out in painter virtual land? What we're going to be doing next is the white. So the important part is to make sure that this teal is dry. Not ready just yet. No problem. It is the hardest thing in the whole entire world to go slow when we don't know, right, Mandy?
Oh,
and it's
for
okay.
Sure.
We hear ya. We're going to slow down.
So at my birthday party that I did, that virtual party, we painted a fox. And so I was telling them fox, like I was looking at fox jokes to tell them, and I found fox pickup lines. And one of them was, I have to go call animal control because I just saw a fox.
Oh, cute. Got a little joke.
It was really funny.
So what have you been doing, Mandy, with your time as far as trying to be normal?
Yeah, I've been exercising a lot. Like I like to get up and exercise. Our gym is doing virtual exercise classes. So that's, you know, I get to see the same people every day. So that's been really fun. I have been journaling. I like to journal. Still working, like, you know, doing just like some of that like database cleanup, like some of those boring tasks that we don't like to do. And so, and I've been doing some home improvement projects. I'm in the middle of painting my kitchen. So yeah, staying busy.
I always say paint every day, paint everything. Yeah.
Yes, painting your walls. How about you?
You know, I've been doing some online classes, a lot of art related things. I have all kinds of things to do. I have to challenge myself to get up and get off the couch because honestly, every time I do go through the kitchen, I grab a little something.
Stop and eat.
It's hard. It's hard not to bake cookies because you have time to bake cookies and then you eat them
Yeah.
and nobody's here to eat them. So yeah, I got to stay busy.
My family, we've started doing like Zoom parties, like little Zoom, like me and my sisters and my nieces, like we'll do little Zoom family catch-ups, and they're so fun. And I realized we should do this when we're not in a pandemic because like seeing them and being all on the phone or on the video together, like it's so fun. So we've learned that we're going to continue that afterwards.
You know, it's the little things that are going to be great that come out of this. So
Yeah.
all right, my friends. Keep in mind always that these will be recorded and you can go back. Unfortunately, it won't be recorded and put up immediately, but you will be able to go back. But I'm gonna slow my roll as promised, and we're gonna go on to the white parts right here. Can you see that if I do that on my screen, the little arrow?
We cannot.
Oh,
I can't see it.
Okay, never mind.
No.
I'll point then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna put the white around. So we're gonna do the face. And this is super important. If you switched brushes and you have a clean brush, you're golden. You're good to go. If not, this brush needs to be clean of all paint. So make sure that you go in and you get all of the paint. You don't want any pink because we're making a white bunny. Or, Mandy, are we making a pink bunny? Or a white bunny?
I'm making a white bunny, but I mean, I guess your bunny could be purple. Your bunny could be any color you want, right? It's your art.
Absolutely. You get to decide. So I give you permission. If I was teaching this class right now, I would let you come over and pick any paint color that you want. But whatever mom has in front of you, mom, grandma, auntie, whomever, dad, whoever you're working with right now, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the white bunny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some white. I'm going to fill up my brush. All right. And this is the part where you're doing exactly the same thing that you did before, except for you're going to pump the brush up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pop it up and down and I'm turning the brush. Do you see how I'm doing that? I'm kind of turning the brush as I go. This is going to make the bunny look like it is fuzzy and cuddly. And I'm going to keep pumping it up and down and I'm going to touch right into that pink. And as need be, I'm going to go in and pick up more paint. So I'm going to go all around this ear, and all around this ear and this ear. And I know this is going to take a little bit of time, so we're going to give you that time. But we're going to keep pumping until we get all kinds of little dots to make that bunny, Remy, look nice and cuddly.
Oh my gosh, I love this technique.
Yeah, and it's very transparent, which means this, kids, you can see through it. Sometimes you can still see through the color white with the color teal that you painted the background. But if you go over it after it dries in a little bit, you'll be able to fill it in a little bit darker. So we're just taking time and we're pumping and churning the brush. That's the trick. Turning the brush and making it nice and soft. If you push really, really, really hard, you're going to get a big fat blob. If you push little itty bitty spots, you'll get a nice small spot. So that depends on how you want to do it. Make sure you do come into the pink area as well, because we want that pink area to look like it's inside that bunny's ear, right? We want to touch it.
Yeah, and my pink is still a little bit wet, so I'm leaving a little border there so I don't get pink in my bunny. And then I'll come back and put a second coat over it.
Good idea. So if you were to mix a little bit of pink in because the pink was still wet, it's okay. Do like Mandy said, let it dry. She's leaving a little bit of an edge and we'll be able to cover it. It's not permanent. That's the really nice thing about working with acrylic paints. is that once it dries, we can go over it again. Katrina, I'm sorry. This is what the tip of the brush looks like. And it doesn't matter what brush you use, really. I hear you, Jen. I'm slowing. I don't know. We're going to have to, hey, Monday morning, we're going to come up with new techniques, Mandy, on how to slow down when we are doing these virtual paint parties. I have energy anyway, and the other artsy coaches know that. And anybody that knows that, that's ever painted with me before in the last 6-7 years, knows that I have a lot of energy and I get so excited. So I guess I'm a fast painter. I tell you what, is this not the funnest painting to do on Easter? Look at how soft and cuddly it looks, like Q-tip ears. Looks like you can
And
pet
at
them.
the end, we're going to give you guys a chance. Well, Don will turn your videos on if anyone wants to share at the end, and you guys can share your paintings with us. I can't wait to see all those cute bunnies.
That's actually the fun part for me, is when we're all done and everybody shares their paintings, because I mean, we take time to do this, and yet look at 63 participants, and that doesn't even mean there's not more than that, because there's probably 2 or 3 little kiddos at those houses.
So my Facebook memory came up the other day. So Tammy, you know, both your kids are grown, and my kids are 17 and 19, and so yeah, they're not going to go hunt Easter eggs with me this weekend. But one of my Facebook memories came up from when it was 10 years ago. So Macy would have been 9, I guess. And the memory was, I had asked the kids, you know, let's go to the Easter egg hunt. And Macy was like, Mom, it's not even hard. They just throw them on the ground. And so they wouldn't go Easter egg hunt with me. And that was like the first year that they didn't want to go to the Easter egg hunt. So enjoy those littles while you got them. So I can't wait to see everyone's Easter bunnies. I'm still going to get my kids Easter baskets this year, though, because I can't not.
You better get busy, girl. You know, Easter's tomorrow.
I know, right?
I was going to say, Macy's always been one that is always up for a challenge. So Easter egg hunt was not her challenge. She needed.
Yeah, she was like, it's not even hard.
That's the beautiful thing about all of this. For all of you who are on virtual land right now, is North Dakota actually found this business in 2013, and now we're very, very close. All of us artsy coaches and a lot of the guides that are still doing the paint parties with us all across the United States and Japan and Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
A little bit everywhere. So we're just one big community. Love it. All right, my friends. I know it's time to go on. So what we're going to do next is this shape right here. Kids, look at this shape. Remi's head is what? Yell it out. What shape is that? Circle? You think so? No, it's not a square. Well, yeah, you're right. I heard it. It looks like an Easter egg. It's an oval, isn't it? An oval means that it's kind of more pointed on one end. Anyways, it could be round when you're done. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up that paint again. And we're going to start right here on the ears, up on the top, but we are going to come all the way down and into the lime green. So here's what I want you to watch. Take a Tammy time out and watch, please. I'm going to put one dot up here at 12 o'clock, just like we're painting a clock. And then I'm going to go all the way down to 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock is going to be just on the other side of the line. All right? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Let's put a dot where 3 o'clock would be. And it's okay in that area. If you don't get it perfect, it's okay, because we're going to paint over it anyway. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We're going to put another one. And then 10, 11, 12. Now that doesn't look like an Easter egg or an oval, but now we're going to make it that. So I'm going to pick up some more paint. And then in between, I'm going to do that same thing again. I'm going to do that 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and I'm going to go all the way around the clock until I get a round or Easter egg type of face shape. It's going to be a big outline. Looks pretty good, huh?
Mine looks a little crooked.
And if it's a little bit crooked, well, then you get to decide how you're going to change it, Miss Vandy. And then you're going to go and fill in. So we're going to do the entire part of this Easter egg face shape by taking that brush, turn it, don't forget to turn your brush up and down and over and round and left and right, and pick up more paint. And we're going to give you some time to paint this.
So you're painting the inside of his face with that same dabbing technique?
I am.
Okay.
We'll smooth it out and make it a little bit different later, but right now we're going to just fill it in. Get that first layer of white on that teal. And I need to take a little bit more white on my tray. So anytime you need more paint, you know, you have my permission to get more.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this
Make sure it touches the ears, my friends.
or do you need more?
So your ears aren't floating above the rabbit.
I don't want the ears to be floating. We will have a flower in there if you choose to put that in there later. Had I had a headband, I would have made some ears, but I couldn't find one.
I dug this out of, so I have my little prop, you know, bag that I keep for parties, and I just looked in there like 5 minutes before, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had ears.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I've been trying my darndest to not go. The only store we have here in North Dakota in my little town is Walmart, and I am very thankful for having that, but I'm just really cautious to not be going out there. So I haven't even gone and done any of Walmart's kind of shopping. So I bet I could have found some, but.
Well, they interviewed the CEO of Walmart yesterday on the news, and he was talking about the different trends that they have seen, like what people are buying. And he said the first few weeks it was food and toilet paper. And then it transitioned into puzzles, games, interactive educational type toys, things like that. He said recently it's been beard trimmers, hair dye. So
I'm telling you, I got on and I text my hairstylist today and I'm like, so what is the rhyme and reason of appointments when we are back? Because I'm usually every 3 weeks. Guys, look at this. It is actually not bad. It's kind of cute. Maybe I'll transition into a new one. If you knew me before, it was very short. I usually wear a mohawk, but no, it's long. How are we doing out there? I'm going to look at the chats and see if there's any. We think the pace is great. Jody, woohoo! Thank you. All right. We know we're doing our job right when Dawn loves us at the end, where she's not overwhelmed because we're doing things we shouldn't be doing. We're going too fast. So obviously, and remember, thanks to the Coles, we're doing a great job, Mandy. You will be able to go over the white of the ears and the white of the face a little bit later. We're going to be jumping, and I always tell people it's not to frustrate you and make you go from here to there, but there's a rhyme and a reason why we do that, okay? And the reason is we want areas to dry so we can come back to them later. So a thick painting is never a good painting.
Yeah, wet paint is the enemy.
That's right. So when you're finished with that, we are going to go ahead and we are going to be mixing some pastel. How big is your bunny? Well, Miss Jan, if I put my fist up to, or actually if I open my hand, the head is my palm of my hand, I guess. The ears are about my hand shape. So does that help? They can be big, they can be small. If your bunny is small, you can put your eggs larger. That's the really nice thing. Great, I'm glad that helped you, Jen. All right, so when we take a look at Remi the rabbit, the original, how many eggs, kids that are done, count how many eggs you see. We're going on an egg hunt. We've got a yellow one, we have a teal one, we have a purple one, we have a hot pink one, and we have a blue one. That makes 5, right? So we have 5 large Easter eggs, and those large Easter eggs, good job, Riley, I see that you answered it correctly. They can be more, there can be more, or there can be less, whatever you would like. Now, when you look at Remi, and I'm gonna hold my brush up here to this yellow one, this egg stands tall. But then this teal one tipped to the side. And then the one in the front is on its side. And I can't even see this one, part of it. So some of the egg goes off the canvas. It's almost like I took the camera and I came up really close to take a picture of Remi. And I only caught a little bit of the egg, right? We want to make them big. So if I put my hand up here and how do I do this? I make my fist like this, that egg is about as big as my fist, and I'm a grown-up. So that's a pretty big egg, isn't it? We're gonna start by painting this one right here. This is the yellow one. Now, please, children, keep in mind, you get to choose the colors. I'm gonna tell you how I'm mixing mine to make yellow, and I'm gonna paint it yellow, and then I'm gonna move to the next one and whatnot, and you can choose whatever one you want. All right, are you ready? So I'm gonna take that same brush, and again, not a big brush. We need a little bit smaller brush, and we're gonna mix the white. I didn't clean my brush out this time, and it's okay if you did, but we're gonna be using white for the base of it because I wanna make them light colors. So I'm gonna take white and I'm gonna take yellow, and I'm gonna mix white and yellow together. Or, I already have yellow on my tray, don't I, from before? So I could use that. But if I don't have that, I'm gonna take yellow and white, mostly white to make it light. Say that out loud, mostly white to make it light. And we're gonna start to paint those eggs. So here's what I'm gonna do. It's on the, if you're facing your canvas, it's on the left-hand side. The egg starts on the side and it goes over his cheek, doesn't it? So I'm gonna draw it nice and slow, and I don't wanna push hard, I wanna push light. So watch this, and I'm actually gonna stop breathing. That sounds silly, doesn't it? But when I stop breathing, I concentrate a little bit more. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a deep breath in, and I'm gonna draw up, around, touch the cheek, and down. Ready? Nice and slow. The reason I stop breathing is so that I can concentrate and do the best egg that I can do. And it's okay, because there's gonna be another egg that goes over it. So we're only going to paint the top part of it, right? So Mandy's got paint on hers, and we're gonna go back in and we're gonna start painting all of the egg about half, if not 3/4 of the way down. If you look at mine, I'm taking long strokes, not a lot of paint, remember, because it takes too long to dry. And when I paint, I go up and down and up and down. Nice long strokes. Getting all, I call them lumpy bumpies. We don't want to have any lumpy bumpies in the paint. And I keep going over it and over it and over it until I think that I don't have any more lumpy bumpies in there. Even if I can see the teal come through, it's okay, because we'll go back in later. Mandy's looks really nice. She started with a white canvas. Mine, I'm really struggling with this canvas today, but it's okay. I don't care. I still love my painting. This brush is then gonna go into the water. We're gonna get it nice and clean and dry.
We have some kiddos who need to catch up too.
All right, Shanna. Shanna, sounds great. We'll give you a little bit of a music break.
So Tammy, when I was a little girl, I was telling the kids about just some of the Easter traditions that we used to do when I was little. And there was this farmer. So I'm from rural Oklahoma, and there was a farmer every year who would do a huge Easter egg hunt for all of us kids. And he had goose eggs. And so if you found your Easter eggs, you got like I can't remember if it was a penny or something for like every egg you found, but if you found the goose egg and there weren't that many of them, it was worth $5. And so he would go out like the night before and like hide like his whole farm with eggs. And like, I mean, it's a very small community. So I remember there being tons of kids. I don't really know how many there were because it was such a small community. But it was always like finding the goose egg was like the goal. Like you would get $5.
Show me with your hand, Mandy. How big is a goose egg?
Well, I was little, but I remember them being like big. They're like big, yeah. They're big.
Like the ones that we're painting today. They're like a pretty big egg, aren't they?
Yeah. And then when the other thing our town used to do, which when we moved to Colorado, you know, you just learn different traditions in small town versus a, you know, larger city. But we would go to the park and they would have the Easter egg hunt. And around the little plastic Easter eggs, there would be the name of a business on your egg, like typed out, like taped around it. And so the Easter egg hunt was in the morning, like a Saturday morning. And then the rest of the afternoon, you went from business to business to get your prize. So like, you know, like the local, it was called the Dairy Mart, like where they sell like burgers and sodas and stuff. You went there, you would get like a small ice cream cone, or, you know, like one of the barber shops in town, like you would get a quarter. So we spent all afternoon, your mom would drive you all over to pick up your prizes. So it was so fun.
I love that idea. See, Colorado is always like cutting edge, way ahead of anything that we do. I'm going to take that to my chamber. I love that idea. Maybe
yeah, and because you guys are a smaller community, so you could pull that off.
Absolutely. Okay, my friends, we're going to get going. Are you ready? Washing out our brush. Remember, if you forgot, or if you're just getting on light, make sure you dry all of the brush because it drips down the handle because it's been in the cup. The next egg we're going to do is this blue one right here. Why we're going to do this one next is because we're going to be putting things in front of them and we need to have these dry. So I'm going to take the color white and blue, and I didn't have a clean spot, so I have to mix some more. So I put just a teeny tiny bit of blue and white. More white makes it light. And white actually helps the color cover on the canvas. When it's covering something else, white works a little bit better. So we put some white in there and we're mixing up our blue. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna come up from the side, and this one kind of goes off the edge, and we're gonna come up next to the cheek, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go down into that green. So here I go. Remember, stop and think. I'm gonna go up. Mine got a little wobbly. Some of it is on the green grass. Some of it touches the cheek. And then you're gonna get to paint it in. Nice light layers when you paint, getting out all the lumpy bumpies. You don't want to use a lot of paint. You want to use the right amount of paint, just enough. Not too much, just like the Three Bears, right? Not too much, not too little, just right. And you'll kind of find, how much that is. And if not, you just go over it again and again and again until you get all the lumps and bumps out. I need to come up with a better plan. I'm like, you should see me. I'm almost doing the splits here, working around these easels in my office. It seems to work pretty well, but maybe if I clean my office, it would be better. Give myself a little bit more room.
I know, we should share pictures of our setup. I've got my computer stacked on boxes. I've got my kitchen table in the middle, like next to the island. Just make it work.
Making it work, that's right.
I shooed my family out of the living room, made them go hide upstairs.
Yep, I put my puppy in her kennel so she couldn't bother us and sent my husband out the door. Go play in the yard, I told him. All right. We're always jumping. Remember, if you can see Look at mine, perfect example of my yellow one. If you can still see that color coming through, it's okay, I promise. We'll go back in and we'll do something with that. In fact, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna have you go back in and do some more of the white on the rabbit. Mandy's doesn't need it, but mine does. So we're gonna finish the blue egg and we're gonna go back in with the color white. Make sure your brush is cleaned out and dry and has no other paint. And I'm gonna put a second coat because I'm gonna wait for everybody to get caught up and mine needs it. So I'm gonna go back in.
I think mine could use a second coat.
Yeah, just go ahead and pump a second coat all along the ears and on the head of Remy the rabbit. Now, Mandy, I know because I already have a Remy. You're not gonna name yours Remy. I want everybody to think of what they're gonna name their rabbits when you're done. So when you post your pictures, you can share the name of the rabbit.
Oh, for sure.
What do you think, kiddos? What kind of rabbit is your name gonna be? That didn't sound right. What is the name of your rabbit gonna be? So I used to, oh, Max the rabbit. I used to teach art. And I can't imagine the art teachers having to do this every day with their students online, all of these kinds of things. I think there would be a lot of sketchbook kind of things. Bubba, I see a Bubba and a Madison bunny. Awesome, I love these names. See, the second coat covers that much nicer, doesn't it? Bobo and Bun Bun and Mr. and Mrs. Hop. One of my favorite things to do is challenge the kiddos. Like if there are 2 kids or 3, you could do a painting wall where both of the rabbits are on the wall, or a triptych, which means 3 children painting, or you and your 2 kids or whatever, and put them up on the wall. Have an art space and paint every day. Find us, paint again, find somebody else to paint with, or come up with your own. And do seasonal changes on that wall. Those are such fun things to have in your home. An art wall. Bon Bon the bunny. That's a good one. I'm only seeing some of them. Football the bunny. Oh, I like that one too.
One of the jokes I read was, what is a bunny's favorite sport? Basketball.
Oh yes, basketball. I'm like, huh? Oh, I got a little yellow back into my bunny face. It's okay, I'm just gonna stay away from it. You can't see it, but I can. Okay. Lily the bunny. Okay, I think if everybody's naming them, they must be ready to go on pretty soon here. Again, final details when we are done, when we get you off and unmute everyone and you have questions, we'll have catch-up time. But we're gonna go on and we're gonna do the next egg. And the next egg I'm going to do is the color purple. And so it's gonna be this one in the middle down here, guys. And this one is laying sideways, isn't it? It's laying sideways. So I'm gonna take my brush 10 times, nice and gentle, so I don't hurt the brush, so it doesn't get mad at me, and I'm gonna wash and dry it out, and I'm gonna find my color purple and add it to the color white. So white makes it light. You wanna put a little bit of purple into some white to make it light, and we're gonna mix it up. Purple and white. And purple really is one of those colors that does need white. It just doesn't cover very well. So
yeah, it doesn't stick to the canvas. It's so see-through.
I found through some of my online classes, if you're an artist or a budding artist that wants to do a little bit more than student grade, there is a paint called Golden acrylics, and they are amazing. I've been having so much fun with those. All right. I see purple, blah, blah. I don't know, Dawn's answering these. I didn't see the purple color. Oh.
Oh, red and blue.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. They were asking how to mix purple.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. Red and blue. And then white. Not a lot of red, not a lot of blue, just a dot of each and then some white. So yes, you can mix purple. I did that last time when we did I don't know, monkey business or something. You're welcome. We did a color wheel, and I forgot to do it this time. All right, so this time we're gonna go, again, you're gonna have to really think. My egg on this side, you can really tell it's an egg because it's skinnier on this side and has a little fatter bottom on it, but it's tipped over. We're gonna have to really think how we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna stop breathing and I'm gonna draw the fat bottomy part down to the skinny part. And again, they can be round, it's okay. This one's pretty big. It's as big as my fist, and I'm a big person. So you're gonna draw them pretty big, and then we're gonna fill it in. You're gonna have a very different purple if you mixed blue and red, but it's okay. If you don't have purple, there are 3 colors on the color wheel: red and yellow and blue. And with those colors and black and white, you can mix a lot of colors. So that's the fun part. I bet you'll find that out when you dye Easter eggs. When you put drops of food coloring together, you can have your art lesson later on today or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Looking good, folks. Looking good.
Here's another funny story for you, Tammy, thinking about all these eggs. So, you know, one of the most popular side dishes, deviled eggs for Easter. Do you guys make deviled eggs for Easter?
If I did, I would be the only one that eats them, but
Oh,
I do
yeah.
love them.
So one year for Easter, my dad, the local cafe in his small little town was advertising deviled eggs. You could buy, like they would make them and you just buy them by the dozen. And I think they were only charging like $3 a dozen or something really weird, something really crazy like that. So he bought 6 dozen deviled eggs. So that's 6 dozen whole eggs. So that's like 12 dozen halves. There were like 10 of us for dinner. We all almost had our own dozen of eggs. I'm like, Dad, what are we gonna do with, oh my gosh, sorry, my friend keeps messaging me. I need to tell her I'm busy. I'm like, Dad, why did you buy so many deviled eggs? He's like, well, they were only $3. Yes, but we don't need 12 dozen deviled eggs.
That is definitely an Easter staple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, my friends, time to move on. Tammy says it's time to move on. Pumping out your brush, drying off your brush, going all the way up and down the handle, making sure there are no water droplets coming out of that. And we are going to go to the teal egg. The teal egg is the one that is in front of the yellow. And if you do not have the color teal again, you're going to mix green and blue and a little bit of white. I have teal on mine. And we are going to tip him on the side, just like we did the purple one. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to grab some teal.
So are you using the same teal from your background, or did you make a little lighter version?
Good question. So I'm actually adding more white into that. Yeah, so I had teal on my tray and I just took a little bit of white and lightened it up because we want that to be a little bit lighter to stand in front. And all the other eggs are light, so we're gonna make that one light as well. Okay. Same trick. I tell you, if I were with you all and I could see you and watch you listening to all my instructions, I'd be giving you all high fives. Remember, take a deep breath in, nice slow. We're gonna go in front of the yellow this time, and then we're gonna come back and it almost touches the purple. And guess what? If yours touches the purple, it's okay because mine's gonna be different, Mandy's is gonna be different, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Okay, ready? Deep breath in, nice and slow. Let's tilt this one over. Once you have the outline, you know what to do. You're pros by now. You just gotta fill it in. Nice and light, no lumpy bumpies, my friends.
And I like how when you get your shape on, you can always like go back and, you know, correct it if you need to make it a
Right.
little bigger, or clean up that line.
You're right. And oftentimes if we pick up the painting and turn it upside down, it really changes the way we look at things. So I wouldn't suggest you do that now, but next time you do a painting, you can turn the painting different directions and you can see how to adjust them.
Tammy, every time you say lumpy bumpies, it
Yeah.
reminds me of a Shel Silverstein poem that was in the Where the Sidewalk Ends. What was called The Unicorns? And he always says I think he says humpy bumpy camels. But it's all the story of why there are no more unicorns.
Oh, I love it. I'll have to check that out. I don't know where I came up with that lumpy bumpy thing. I oftentimes at my parties say baby butt smooth. So when you're painting, you have to make it baby butt smooth, and the kids giggle at that. But baby's skin is so soft and you want it to be nice and smooth all the time. You don't want little lumpy bumpies, and then they giggle because they tell me, well, you know what the lumpy bumpies could be? It could be the poo-poo in the diaper. Yeah, we don't want that. So slow down. You got it. Chessie. That's a great name, if I said it right. All right. Once again, we cannot thank you enough for joining in and making our virtual Easter Remi painting successful. That's awesome. Hopefully we're filling some space and giving you some great family time today and taking your mind off whatever. The sun is out here, so that's exciting for me. Yay.
Yeah, so here in Colorado, it's been like 70, 80 degrees all week. Today is supposed to be, you know, sunshine again, and tomorrow we're getting snow and like 25 degrees.
Yeah, it's going to be chillier here too. I don't know. We always say Mother Nature's on something crazy these days. I don't know. Whoopsies. Bumped my camera there. Mandy's taking a minute and drawing hers. This is the hardest part, is having to be patient. Some people paint fast, some people paint slow, and it's okay. We're just going to be patient and do the best we can. But we've got one more egg to put on there, and that's the hot pink one. So we'll be mixing that one up next, making sure that you do the same thing by washing your brush out, getting it nice and dry. I think one of the things Mandy and I talked about is how much we love this painting, but the favorite part is coming up, isn't it, Mandy? What's the favorite part of this painting for you?
Well, my favorite part is his bow tie.
Yeah,
Is that your favorite?
it is. It stands out so cute, doesn't it?
It is. It's adorable.
All right, we're going to take a tiny little bit of red. I'm reading the chat here. Something about Mother Nature. I'll come back to it. Little bit of white, little bit of red. And my friends, remember when we do this egg, we do it pretty big. It goes off the side of the canvas. So go ahead and take your brush and mix up your pink. The more white, the more light it is. If you want it a little darker this time, you could add a little bit more red in. That makes that hot pink. So the more red you see, the more hot pink it is. I'm gonna mix up my hot pink there. Taking a deep breath in and getting that one right under the blue. So when we do this, we're gonna touch the blue. So I'm gonna go half onto the blue, like a sad face. I'm making a line that looks like a sad face, and then I'm gonna come down and around, almost touching the purple. And if I did touch the purple, it's okay, and then fill it in.
My pink egg is a goose egg.
Yeah. These are very large eggs, but aren't they fun?
Yeah.
Now, not now, but later, if you want to, you can put designs on your eggs. We're not going to take the time to do that, but it would be fun if you put polka dots and stripes and different things on it. You can do that later. We'll have time when it's dry and we're off video and you're looking for something else to do. And then, oh my gosh, Mandy, can you imagine the different kinds of paintings we're going to get to see?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you could put polka dots and stripes. They could even, if they've got like little Easter stickers, that would be cute to decorate.
Oh, yes, glitter. Sorry, Mom, sorry.
Glitter.
Ooh, a little bit of glitter. You could put a T for Tammy on one. That would be my Easter egg. Then nobody would know, or nobody would eat it because they would know I made that egg. Okay, my friends. I know I'm gonna hear slow down. This part is pretty easy though, honestly. We're gonna go ahead and put some grasses in next. And the grasses are used with the smallest brush that y'all have. Okay, so you're gonna use a thin brush this time. I'll hold it up here to my camera. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna dip into the darkest green, which I call the bottle green. So I actually have some on my tray yet. And I'm gonna use the bottle green. I'm gonna load up my thin brush. Now I'm gonna show you, and I always show you on my hand if you're in my class. Watch this. If I take this brush and I push really hard, look at how thick that grass blade is gonna be. But if I take that brush, and this kind of tickles, and I go really, really light, it makes a thin line. We want a thin line. So if you push hard, you're gonna get a thick line. We wanna tickle the canvas. See that? Just nice thin line. I'm gonna wash that off my hand and give you a second to get your green ready. I don't recommend painting on your hands. That's just how I do it. All right, we're gonna take that and we're gonna go all around. Let's look at the original. Under the teal egg with little lines. Mandy, do the lines cover the eggs?
Yeah, I mean, I think if it covers the eggs, it makes it look like the egg is sitting in the grass, right?
Right.
Like it,
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some, and if you're standing close to Remi and close to these eggs, these lines in the front are gonna be longer. And if you wanna put lines back up here, like by his face and behind the blue egg, those are gonna be smaller. So I would say this, I would put at least, are you ready? At least 30 lines on your painting. Let's see if we can count. Go ahead and start painting grasses, put at least 30 of them, and go. You can count if you want. Some are gonna cover the eggs.
And Tammy, I'm gonna open the image that we posted on Facebook so I can see so I can see it closer.
Sure,
So
that'll be helpful.
So I can see where those grass blades are.
Some grass blades touch, because if you went out and rolled in the grass today, or when you're collecting your Easter eggs later, you'll be able to see that. There are lots of grass blades out there, so some grass blades touch. Do you remember, friends, when I taught you how to make the color lime green? You might have some lime green still on your tray. By adding a little bit of yellow to your brush, you could use some of that as well. You could use the lime green grasses, because sometimes that makes it really pretty when you put different colors of the grass in there. So we're doing little grass blades. We're touching all the Easter eggs that are sitting on the ground. Oh, I was reading the chat. Yes, Mother Nature, she does things. We don't want to put them too high in the sky, because the grass blade should be on the ground. And that's supposed to be sky behind Remi. About 30 of them. Now, do you think you can have too many grass blades, Mandy?
No, I mean, I think it could get too busy if you have too many, but hey, it's your painting, so you can have as much grass as you want.
Right, so go ahead and put as many as you think you need, and then there is a point where you'll want to stop when we start on the flower stems. We'll be starting on the flower stems next. So about 30 of those little guys. When you get caught up, if you have another layer to go back in on, again, you could always go back in and put another layer. Like my face could use another layer, and my yellow egg could use another layer. Those are some of the things that you can do in the meantime if you're waiting. I remember the good old days when my kids were little, and they'd get their little, Brooke would get her little dress on, and we'd go out to the family farm, and we'd do all kinds of outdoor stuff. That's when I remember Easter's being like super warm, and that was like the first part of summer. Oh my gosh, I miss that. I miss that mostly this year, right?
Yes. Now we just have to wait for grandbabies.
Yes.
We'll get to do it again in a few years.
Yeah. All righty, my friends. Got some grass blades in there. We all good to go? We're golden. We're going to go on to flowers next. Guys, I put 3 flowers on mine. I put one above the blue egg. And then I put one above the yellow egg. And the tricky one is I put one in the grass and it covered both eggs. So we're going to very simply talk about what the stem is. And we're going to use the same small brush that we were using, making sure there's no paint in it and there's no water in it. And we're going to draw a line. And the line is going to be the stem that comes up wherever you want to stop. And then we're going to do that same leaf shape that we did up here for the pink. So if you want to start with a line and then go skinny, fat, skinny again for your leaves, you're welcome to do that. But we're going to put 3 of those in. So I'm going to grab some green, and I'm going to come in right above my blue one first. Now, this time I don't have as much room, so I'm just going to do a small flower because I made mine a little bit different than I did last time. So I'm going to put a stem right up there, right above the blue egg. A line, that's going to be the stem of the flower. It's kind of hard to see on mine. I think I'm going to put some more white in it just so you can see it a little bit better. That's better, right? Yes. It's not a great color for my painting, but you'll see it better. Once we get that stem in there, we're going to draw a line to the left and a line to the right. And we're going to make it skinny, fat in the middle, skinny. We're going to make the leaf shape on both sides. You can put as many leaves in as you want. We have 1 stem, 2 leaves above the blue egg. And then we're going to jump to the other side above the yellow, and we're going to do the same thing. This one on my side can be a little bit taller because I have a little bit more room this time. So you have to do the painting according to what you have for room. I like the freehand drawing. It's kind of fun where you get to create your own and everybody's looks super different. So
The 6-year-old is ready to share her painting.
awesome. We can't wait to see it. Yeah, 5 and 6, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds are probably ready to be done. And I get it. Thanks for joining in.
Where should they be posting their photos? Do we have anything set up?
I don't have we're going to put it on Facebook, but I don't have the image. Like, I haven't started the thread yet.
So check back maybe Monday?
Yeah. I'll put it up there just as soon as we're done today.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys go to facebook.com, what is it, /gallery on the go?
Yeah.
And you can put, we'll have a post there where you guys can post pictures of your finished paintings to share them with the artsy family too.
Dawn, if you're in front of your computer, you can go just post the Remy picture and start the thread.
Okay.
But we can also, if we can turn her video on, turn Rebecca's video on, she can show her painting if she wants.
All right, my friends, we're gonna go in front of the teal egg, and this one goes right in front of the teal, right over the yellow. So that would be my 3rd flower. I'm sure some of you have already done it. Some of you are waiting for me to show you. And then we're going to do tulip flowers or any flower that you want to do. I'm doing tulip flowers because one of our artsy coaches loves tulips. So we're going to do tulips, Miss Maria, who I don't know if she's on or not, but we're going to paint tulips for her. All right. Tulips are pretty fun. They're pretty easy to do. They're pretty linear, meaning they're kind of like lines. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to start on this one right in front of the yellow, and I'm going to do that hot pink color. So I'm going to either pick up the hot pink that I had, or I'm going to mix some. Remember, if you're making hot pink with me and you forgot, you're going to take a little bit of red, and the more white, the lighter it gets, so you can decide. A little bit of white, a little bit of red, and this is how I do it. We're going to take, and you have to look up here and make the letter U. After you make that letter U, you're going to start by putting lines in the center, up, 2, 3, however many you want, 4, 5, and that makes a tulip shape. So the letter U, start in the center with a line 1, line 2, line 3, 4, 5, however many you need to make a flower. And we're going to do that a couple of more times because we have 2 more flowers to go. So I used purple and blue next. You can decide what colors you would like.
Tammy, I like how you come in later with, like, you know, this is some stuff they can do after the party where you've got some darker shades in your hot pink. It just adds a little dimension and texture to your painting rather than just that flat shade. You can come back and add some highlights and some low lights.
Right. So this particular flower right here is pretty much a pale pink. After it dries, if I go back in and we're off camera, you can go back in and you can put another layer and make it a little bit darker. Because remember, we want to give it some time to dry. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit because we have a couple more things to do, like a few things to do. So I want you to go ahead and go ahead and paint your blue flower and your purple flower or whatever colors you want to make them. Mandy and I are going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go above my yellow egg and I'm going to make the letter U and then a line in the center and keep doing my tulips. If they don't turn out to be tulips, they turn out to be a different flower, that's okay too. Mine's actually crooked. Oh well. We want to do all 3 flowers. Time flies, doesn't it? Oof.
I know, yeah. When you're having fun.
Yeah, having fun, feeling like a 6-year-old. We got some work to do yet. We're going to do a different flower in the middle of the rabbit, but we're going to go to the nose next. So after we get our flowers done, we're going to go to the nose. Do you not love the nose? And guys, if you haven't gotten on the gallery page and you're choosing to go on and you're choosing to post, make sure you scroll down and watch our jib jab. Is that what's called, Mandy?
Yeah.
Jib jab, we did this, Mandy did this little post and we're all rabbits and we're doing the bunny dance.
Like the bunny hop or something?
The bunny hop or something.
Yeah.
It is so cute. And one of the rabbits is Remy. Remy's nose got on there and his face, and he's doing some, busting out some moves with us. So go ahead and check that out. I thought that was so awesome. All right. For the nose, we're going to pick up some pink, little bit lighter pink, washing out our brushes. In between where the flower is going to go and where the bow tie is going to go. So I kind of want you to put your finger down here. This is where the bow tie is going to go, and I'm going to touch it. And then up here is where my flower is going to go. So about right in the middle here is where my nose is going to go. And I am so sad, Mandy, that in just a little bit we're going to be off this call. So I'm going to put like a half of a frown, big frown. See how big his nose is? He's kind of sad, because we're going to be getting off pretty soon. And then I'm going to finish it by making it into what shape, Mandy?
Looks like a upside down triangle.
Yeah, or a little piece of pizza or whatever you want
pizza.
to call it.
I know,
Ice
I'm getting hungry for
cream.
lunch.
Yeah, I know. Lunch is near. Filling in his cute little fat nose. There can be darker and lighter areas on that too, because it also gives it some dimension. And then this part is kind of tricky. You can use the smallest brush, or you can take this brush. And remember when I showed you before how to make a thin line, nice and light? We're going to put that line right under his nose, which is going to be where his mouth is. So I'm going to take and I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to put a little line, and I just think that is the cutest thing ever when I put that line in there.
I love it. And it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, right?
Nope, not all the way to the bottom. We're going to leave a little bit of room for that bow tie. And if the two cover each other, it's all right. Now, I don't know if y'all have black or not. We're going to put the eyes in next because the eyes are important as far as the placement of the flower. The teeniest, the tiniest little dot, as big as your fingernail, is all you're going to need.
All right, Riley is finished and would like to come on the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's show it.
I'm not sure how to do that. How do I let her go live?
I think, hold on, let me see if I can figure it out. So if we find her name.
I tried that under participants.
I think you have to be the host. Maybe do you have to be the host?
Oh, maybe.
And you know what, Riley? I'm going to have Riley just show her picture a little bit later on because we're going to keep going. We've got 60 people on yet, and I bet you because I'm getting hungry, they're going to be getting hungry. So I'm going to make that call. Sorry, Riley, but I look forward to seeing your picture. What we're going to do this time is we're going to take the opposite end of the brush for those eyes. We were talking about the black, and we're going to put 2 dots right above the nose. So I'm going to take my brush, the other end of the brush, and I'm going to come and I'm going to put 2 dots right above the nose, which make the cutest little sleepy bunny eyes.
I love the little eyes.
Teeny tiny little dots. I know, sorry, Riley. Don't give me that sad face. Ooh, broke her heart. I know, I'll make it up to you, girlfriend. I promise. All right. We want the small brush next, friends. The small brush is going to be the one that's going to make these petals on this flower. And so I'm going to use the color pink again. You can use whatever color you want. And I'm going to count because I put a lot of petals on here. Like this is a pretty big flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have like 9 petals on that thing. That doesn't mean you have to, but you might have a flower with that many as well. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go straight up, just like we did the clock before. So I'm going to take this brush, and I want you to watch, and I'm going to push down and then pull up. And it's going to make like a petal shape. I'm going to go 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I'm going to fill in the petals in the middle. So start with that X and then fill in your petals, okay? Yep, we're dropping down to 59 people, which is fine. Fine, fine, fine. Everybody's going to need to get onto something else, but we're near. All we have is a bow tie next, friends, and then final details. So we're going to fill in between those with other petals, as many petals as you'd like. Remember, the recording will be on if you need to come back at some point and finish or refresh or do it again. Maybe you'll do a different colored bunny the next time. Maybe you'll do paintings and send them to your loved ones that you don't get to be with this holiday. That would make their day, wouldn't it, Mandy?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll get the recording up just as soon as we're done. It takes a little time to render or whatever, but I'll get it up to sometime shortly after we wrap up.
Oh, I love yours, Mandy. Cute. Very different. They're all very different. Yep, Andrea, she's going to try and do that. She'll put it up as soon as she can. Little flower. I just wanted to go crazy and I wanted to put a headband of flowers on there. So I might go do that on this one later on today. All right, my friends, we have a bow and then we're done. We have a bow and then we're done. Again, please keep in mind that we have to let this flower dry in the center before we put the yellow in there. So we're gonna jump again. We're gonna hop like a little Remy rabbit. We're gonna jump down to the tie next and then we'll come back and jump back up when that's dry. So I am going to use the color navy blue. How did I get that color? I mixed the color blue and a little bit of black, not a lot of black. So I mixed the color blue and a little bit of black, and I'm gonna make a navy blue. I'm gonna show you how to make it. That shape, mix up your blue.
That navy is such a perfect contrast to all the like spring colors. I love that navy in there.
You know what made me thought of doing it that way is all those little cuties that would be in Easter church with their plaid, these little 2- and 3-year-olds with their plaid vests on is what made me think of it. Because the girls always have the cute little dresses on. So I thought there's going to be a boy in some plaid somewhere on there. Okay, my friends, here we go. I want you to take a look at this right here. If I were to unbuckle this and show you, this is actually the shape of a heart. So if you think of this side of the tie as being a heart, and then flipping it the other way and being a heart, and then a circle in the middle, that's how I made my tie. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna start by putting a line here and a line here. That's gonna be the center of where my heart is gonna be. After that, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna do a heart this way and a heart this way. See how I'm doing that? Start in the middle with that line and I'm gonna do a heart shape the opposite, and I'm doing a terrible job because this is not a good position for me to be in when I'm painting. And then fill in the hearts. You got a space in the middle yet. We're gonna put a circle in later. We put 2 hearts to the side. I need to put a little bit more white in mine. Too dark.
And this
And
is
then,
where, Tammy, like you were saying, yours is buckled in, but when I paint, I love to pick my canvas up and turn it around to get a better angle.
yes, definitely. Moving and turning your painting, absolutely. Taking and filling in both sides of the hearts. You want a nice baby butt smooth, get all the lumps out of there. It'll dry quicker, then you can put your details on a little bit faster. And then my trick, and Mandy knows this because I taught her it last time. In order to make the circle, you can make a circle. I know you can. But if you don't know how, here's a trick. If you take your brush and you make the letter C, and then you make a backwards C, it makes a circle. So you're gonna put a circle in the center, connecting the 2 hearts together, and you have a bow tie.
So cute.
Look at how fun it is. Dawn's doing a rock star job on the chatting. Thank you for answering all those questions. Sometimes we miss them. Again, as we continue to go on, and we finish the recording today and you're doing final details, just know that if something is still coming through, like the teal is still coming through, let it dry. Take a hairdryer to it. Have the kids take it out on the front porch and and wave it in the air and get it dry. Once it's dry, you can come over it again and it covers that much better. I think that tie is going to need a little bit of that. Tie's going to need a little bit of that maybe. Mandy's going to try it on hers. What I did for these is I did, on the hearts, I did lines, a bunch of lines going horizontally and then vertically to make plaid. And then in the center, I took the end of my brush, this end of the brush, and I put dots again. Okay, but mine's too wet right now. I'm gonna have to leave it because it's gonna make a big mess. So maybe you can finish those details as you go. And then this is actually even still wet. If I do my finger, I still get red on there. I wouldn't need to put a yellow coat on top of that. I can try it to show you. I'm gonna add a little bit of baby yellow to my brush, and I'm gonna come in and put the center of my flower. And mine is drippy. Do as I say, not as I do. Good gosh. Wash out the brush, Tammy. Wash out the brush. And again, if this were my painting and I was done, I know I would be coming back after it dried, and I'd need to fill in a couple of things and put a little something, something. And gosh, Mandy, I think I might have to grab my glitter out. I might have to glitter this one up later. I
mean, what's Easter without glitter?
Right, bringing on the fun. All right, friends, I tell you what, I think we've gotten as far as we can get. You know what the details are next. We talked about the bow tie and putting in the lines. We talked about going and putting a second coat on the areas that are coming through. But, oh, thanks, Betty. You know what? 64 some people joining us today, 57 still on. Mandy and I want to wish you and Dawn and Maria.
Oh, don't forget to sign your painting.
Oh, yeah. Very, very happy Easter. When you sign your paintings, and we always encourage kiddos to sign their paintings, in the bottom corner, somewhere hide it in the grass or under the egg. You never really want it screaming all over your painting, but down, and it has to be in a dry area. I'm going to see if I can grab myself a marker. I don't know as if this is going to work the greatest because I think this one's dying out, but if I were going to sign it, I know this is dry. I might just put T for Tammy, and then my last name is Shrek. And there I have my painting. Signature.
Yeah. Yeah, and they can date the back of it so that when they pull it out years from now, they can remember.
You know, we should all sign it 2020. You know,
yeah.
We should all sign this one 2020 and put virtual painting, who'd have thought, or something. I don't know. There's a lot of good that comes out of it, but
yeah, we can't wait to see. Be sure and go post your images on Facebook once you finish up your painting and let us see it. And I'll get the recording up soon.
Riley posted hers. I'm going to go look right now, Riley. I'm going to give you a high five. Thank you so much. Finish them off. Post
Bye,
away,
guys.
and enjoy your next couple days.
I'm going to take my Easter basket and go hide some Easter eggs.
Thanks for painting with me, Mandy and Dawn.
Bye. Happy Easter.
Bye, y'all.